The rain fell steady that November morning. Cold drops hit the black umbrellas, hit the polished shoes, hit the folded flag waiting by the casket. General Marcus Holloway was being laid to rest. The funeral drew hundreds, officers in full dress uniform, politicians, reporters. Camera crews lined the iron gates of Arlington National Cemetery. Everyone wanted to be seen. Everyone wanted their moment at the grave of a decorated four-star general. At the entrance, two young guards checked credentials. They wore crisp uniforms, white gloves. Their faces were stone. A long black car pulled up, then another, then a convoy of vehicles with flags on the hoods. The guards saluted, waved them through without question. Then came an old sedan, faded blue paint, rust on the wheel wells. It coughed as it stopped at the checkpoint. The door opened. An old man stepped out. He wore a simple gray suit. The fabric was thin, outdated. The shoulders didn't fit quite right anymore. His shoes were polished, but the leather was cracked with age. His tie was straight. His hair was white and combed back. He walked slowly toward the entrance. The first guard raised his hand. "Sir, this is a private military funeral," the guard said. "Credentials required." The old man reached into his jacket. His hands shook slightly. He pulled out a worn military ID card. The plastic was yellowed. The photo was decades old. The guard examined it, frowned. "This is expired," the guard said. "I know," the old man said quietly, "but I served with Marcus. I need to be here." The second guard stepped forward, younger, more rigid. "Sir, we have strict orders. No entry without current authorization or invitation. Do you have a letter from the family?" The old man shook his head. "I tried to call," he said. "No one answered." "Then I'm sorry, sir. You'll have to leave." The old man stood there. Rain began to darken his shoulders. He looked past the gates, toward the gathering crowd in the distance, toward the casket draped in the American flag. "Marcus was my friend," he said. His voice was steady, quiet. "We served together. I just want to pay my respects." "Sir, please step aside," the first guard said. "You're blocking the entrance." A black SUV pulled up behind the old sedan. A horn honked, impatient. The old man didn't move. "Sir," the second guard said, louder now, "move your vehicle or we'll have it towed." The old man's jaw tightened, but he nodded, turned slowly back toward his car. Just then another vehicle approached, a dark sedan with military plates. It stopped behind the SUV. A rear door opened. A man stepped out. He was tall, broad-shouldered. His uniform was immaculate. 4 stars gleamed on his collar even in the gray light. His face was weathered, hard, but his eyes were sharp. General Raymond Briggs. He walked past the SUV, past the guards, straight toward the old man. "Hold it," General Briggs said. Everyone stopped. The guards snapped to attention. The old man turned. His face showed surprise, then recognition, then something else, something like relief mixed with old pain. "Ray," the old man said softly. "Tom," the general's voice was different now, softer, "Tom Garrett." The two guards exchanged glances, confused. General Briggs looked at them. His expression hardened. "This man," the general said, pointing at the old man, "is being turned away." "Sir," the first guard said, "he has no current credentials, no invitation. We were following." "I know what you were following," General Briggs cut him off. "But do you know who this man is?" Silence. "No, sir," the guard admitted. The general looked at Tom Garrett, really looked at him, saw the thin suit, the trembling hands, the age that had bent him, but also saw something else, something the guards couldn't see. "Come with me, Tom," General Briggs said. "Ray, I don't want to cause trouble," Tom said. "I just wanted." "You're not causing trouble." The general's voice was firm. "You're coming with me, that's an order." Tom hesitated, then nodded. General Briggs turned to the guards. "Open the gate. This man is my guest." "Yes, sir," both guards said in unison. The gate opened. Tom got back in his old sedan. The engine rattled to life. General Briggs returned to his vehicle. Both cars passed through. Behind them, the SUV followed. The reporters craned their necks, whispered to each other. Who was that old man? Why did a four-star general stop everything for him? The cars wound through Arlington, past rows of white headstones, past monuments and memorials, past the graves of thousands who wore the uniform. Tom's hands gripped the steering wheel. His chest felt tight. He hadn't been here in years. Decades, maybe. The memories came back sharp, too sharp. Marcus laughing. Marcus bleeding. Marcus screaming. Tom blinked hard, focused on the road. They reached the grave site. A tent had been set up, rows of chairs beneath it, already mostly full, officers, family members, people in expensive suits. Tom parked at the edge, away from the main group. He sat in his car for a moment, breathing. A knock on his window. General Briggs stood there. Tom rolled down the window. "You all right?" Briggs asked. "Yeah," Tom said, "it's been a long time." "I know. I didn't think anyone would remember me." Briggs' expression softened. "Tom," he said quietly, "how could we forget?" Tom looked away, out toward the casket. The flag rippled slightly in the cold wind. "Come on," Briggs said, "sit with me." "Ray, I can't. Look at me, look at them." Tom gestured toward the crowd. "I don't belong there." "You belong there, more than half these people." Tom shook his head. "I'm fine here." Briggs studied him, then nodded slowly. "All right, but Tom, after the service, don't leave. I need you to stay." "Why?" "Just stay." Briggs walked back toward the tent, took his seat in the front row, near the family, near the casket. Tom stayed in his car, watched through the windshield as the service began. A chaplain spoke, words about duty, about honor, about sacrifice. Tom closed his eyes, listened to the rain on the roof of his car, listened to his own breathing. And remembered. Vietnam, 1968. He was 23. Marcus was 25. They were part of the same unit, different ranks, different roles, but war didn't care about those things. It was the Tet Offensive, chaos everywhere. Their position was overrun, gunfire from all sides, screaming, explosions that shook the earth. Tom saw Marcus go down, saw the blood, saw him clutching his leg. Tom didn't think, just ran through the fire, grabbed Marcus, dragged him, 50 yards, 100, bullets kicking up dirt around them. Something hit Tom's shoulder, burned like fire, but he didn't stop. He got Marcus to cover, applied pressure, called for a medic, held him while they waited. "You're crazy," Marcus had said through gritted teeth. "You're goddamn crazy, Tom." "Shut up and stay with me," Tom had said. Marcus lived. Tom got him out, but Tom took shrapnel. His shoulder never worked right again. Medical discharge 6 months later. He went home, tried to move on, worked construction, then factory work, then security, never talked about the war, never looked back. Marcus stayed in, rose through the ranks, became a legend, became a general. They lost touch, different worlds, different lives. Tom heard about him sometimes, saw his name in the papers, felt proud, felt glad Marcus made something of himself. But they never spoke again. Until 3 weeks ago, Tom saw the obituary. General Marcus Holloway, dead at 77, complications from old wounds. Tom stared at those words, old wounds. He knew which wounds. Outside his car, the service continued. The honor guard performed the flag ceremony, folded it with precision, presented it to Marcus's daughter. She wept quietly. Rifles fired, 21 shots split the air. Taps played, the single trumpet note carried over the graves, mournful, final. Tom's eyes burned. The service ended, people stood, filed past the casket, paid their respects, then moved toward their cars. Conversations began, subdued, respectful, but already moving on. Tom waited, watched them leave. When most were gone, he stepped out of his car. The rain had stopped. The air was cold and clean. He walked slowly toward the grave. His legs ached. His shoulder throbbed, old pain that never really left. He reached the casket, stood before it. The flag gleamed, red and white and blue, perfect, untouched by rain. Tom's throat tightened. "Hey, Marcus," he said quietly. "It's me, Tom. I don't know if you remembered me. It's been so long. Different lives, you know." He paused, swallowed hard. "I'm sorry I didn't come sooner, didn't call, didn't. I don't know, I guess I thought you'd moved on, had bigger things, better people around you." His voice cracked. "But I want you to know, I never forgot. Never forgot that day, never forgot you. And I'm proud of you, Marcus, proud of everything you became." He reached out, touched the casket gently. "Rest easy, brother." A voice behind him. "He never forgot you either." Tom turned. General Briggs stood there. Marcus's daughter beside him. She was in her 50s, dark hair, her father's eyes. "You're Tom Garrett," she said. It wasn't a question. Tom nodded. "Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to intrude. I'll go." "Wait," she said. She stepped closer, held out a folded piece of paper. "My father," he left this, with instructions. "If you came to the funeral, I was supposed to give it to you." Tom stared at the paper. His hands shook as he took it. "He knew I'd come." "He hoped," she said softly. "He hoped every day." Tom unfolded the paper. The handwriting was shaky. Written recently. Written by a dying man. He read, "Tom, if you're reading this, then I'm gone. And you came. I knew you would. You never left anyone behind. I need to tell you something. Something I should have said 50 years ago. You saved my life in Vietnam. Dragged me out of hell, took a bullet doing it. They discharged you, sent you home, and I never thanked you properly. I stayed in the Army, built a career, got promoted, got medals, got respect. And every single day I knew it was because you gave me a second chance. I tried to find you, so many times, called old numbers, wrote letters, they came back, you'd moved, changed jobs, disappeared into civilian life. I should have tried harder. The truth is, Tom, I was ashamed. Ashamed that I had everything while you had nothing. Ashamed that my career was built on your sacrifice. Ashamed that I didn't do more for you. So I did something. Maybe it's not enough, but it's something. Talk to Ray Briggs, he'll explain. Thank you, brother, for everything, for my life, for my family, for all the years I got because you wouldn't leave me behind. Your friend, Marcus." Tom's vision blurred. Tears ran down his face. He didn't wipe them away. General Briggs stepped forward. "Tom," he said gently, "Marcus set up a fund 20 years ago. He contributed to it every month. When he made general, he increased it. When he retired, he kept going." Tom looked up, confused. "A fund?" "For you," Briggs said. "He tracked you down, knew where you were, what you were doing. He saw you struggling, saw you working 3 jobs after the factory closed, saw you living in that small apartment." Tom's chest tightened. He knew. "He knew everything," Marcus's daughter said softly. "He had someone check on you, not to invade your privacy, just to make sure you were okay. And when you weren't, he wanted to help, but he knew you, knew you'd never accept charity, knew you'd refuse if he contacted you directly. So he waited," Briggs continued. "Waited until he was gone, made arrangements. The fund is yours, Tom. It's not a fortune, but it's enough. Enough to live comfortably, enough to stop working, enough to have the retirement you earned." Tom shook his head. I can't take his money." "It's not charity," Briggs said firmly. "It's a debt paid. Marcus felt he owed you his life. This was how he could repay it. But I didn't do it for money. I didn't do it for anything. I did it because he was my brother, because that's what you do. I know, Marcus's daughter said. Her voice was thick with emotion. That's exactly what my father said you'd say. That's why he loved you, Tom. That's why he never stopped thinking about you. She reached into her purse, pulled out a photograph, handed it to Tom. It was old, faded, taken in Vietnam. Two young men in dirty uniforms, smiling despite everything, arms around each other's shoulders. Tom and Marcus. Tom stared at it. He'd forgotten this photo existed, forgotten that moment, but Marcus had kept it all these years. He carried this with him, she said. Everywhere he went, every deployment, every assignment. It was in his pocket when he died. Tom's knees felt weak. Briggs caught his arm, steadied him. There's something else, Briggs said. The general requested that you be given full military honors at his funeral. He wanted you recognized, wanted everyone to know what you did. I don't need recognition, Tom said quietly. Maybe not, Briggs said, but Marcus wanted you to have it anyway. He turned to the small group that remained. A few officers, Marcus's family, some old veterans who'd served with him. Attention, Briggs called out. They stopped, turned, formed a line. Briggs looked at Tom. Tom Garrett, he said, his voice carrying across the cemetery. On behalf of General Marcus Holloway and the United States Army, I want to thank you for your service, for your sacrifice, and for the life you saved that day in Vietnam. He saluted. Every officer present snapped to attention, saluted. The old veteran saluted. Marcus's daughter placed her hand over her heart. Tom stood there, overwhelmed. He raised his hand slowly, returned the salute. His hand trembled, but it was steady enough. The moment held, quiet, powerful. Rain began to fall again, soft and cold. Then Briggs lowered his hand. The others followed. There's one more thing, Marcus's daughter said. She walked to the casket, picked up a small box that had been placed beside the folded flag, brought it to Tom. My father wanted you to have this. Tom opened it. Inside was a medal, the Silver Star, and beneath it a citation. For gallantry in action against an enemy of the United States. Tom's name was on it. He put you in for this, Briggs said. 50 years ago, right after Vietnam, but it got lost. Paperwork disappeared, the chaos of war. These things happened. Marcus never gave up, his daughter added. He spent years tracking it down, fighting the bureaucracy, making calls, writing letters. He finally got it approved 2 months before he died. Tom held the medal, felt its weight. I don't deserve this, he whispered. Yes, you do, Briggs said firmly. You earned it, you bled for it, and Marcus made damn sure you got it. Tom closed his eyes. 50 years. Marcus had spent 50 years trying to make this right, trying to pay back a debt that Tom never thought existed. Because to Tom it wasn't a debt, it was just what you did, what brothers did. But to Marcus, it meant everything. Tom looked at the casket again, at the flag, at the name on the plaque. Thank you, Marcus, he said softly. Thank you for remembering. The group stood in silence for a moment. Then slowly they began to leave, offering quiet condolences to Tom, shaking his hand, thanking him. When they were gone, only Briggs and Marcus's daughter remained. What happens now? Tom asked. Now you live, Briggs said. You use that fund, you rest, you enjoy the time you have left. And you remember, Marcus's daughter added, that you were loved, that you mattered, that you made a difference. Tom nodded slowly. He looked down at the medal in his hands, at the photograph, at the letter. Can I stay a while? He asked. Alone. Of course, she said. She squeezed his hand gently, then walked away with Briggs. Tom stood by the grave. The rain fell harder now, soaked his suit, ran down his face, mixed with tears. You didn't have to do this, he said to the casket. You didn't owe me anything, but Thank you for not forgetting. Thank you for being my friend, even when I wasn't there." He stayed until the rain stopped, until the sun broke through the clouds, until the groundskeepers came to finish their work. Then he walked back to his car, placed the medal carefully on the passenger seat, the photograph, the letter. He drove out of Arlington slowly, past the rows of white stones, past the memorials, past the guards at the entrance. They saluted as he passed. He returned it. 3 months later, Tom moved into a small house. Nothing fancy, but it had a yard, a porch, room for a garden. He hung the photograph on the wall, the medal beside it. Every morning he sat on the porch with his coffee, watched the sunrise, thought about Marcus, thought about Vietnam, thought about all the years between then and now. And he realized something. Marcus hadn't just saved him with money or a medal. Marcus had reminded him that he mattered, that what he'd done wasn't forgotten, that in a world that often forgot its heroes, someone had remembered. Tom smiled, raised his coffee cup toward the photograph inside. "Here's to you, brother," he said quietly. The sun rose higher, warm on his face. For the first time in 50 years, Tom Garrett felt at peace. The end. Moral: true brotherhood never dies. The greatest honor isn't found in medals or ranks, but in remembering those who stood beside us when it mattered most. Heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they wear old suits and drive rusted cars, but their courage echoes forever in the lives they touch.